Show me what you got. You're always talking, but you're not playing. It doesn't match your face. 'Cause in a way, coming from this place.
What is this?
I don't know.
Why are you looking at me?
Like, is this last podcast on the left?
No.
What is this? I don't know how this is playing. I didn't.
What did you look up?
It sounds like. Because it sounds like Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it started playing because, like, there's the thing I looked up, but I don't know where it's playing. Let's see if it's playing on, because I have YouTube Red right now.
Oh, that's it. YouTube Red will just keep auto.
Yes, so it's
I was
playing
like-
Robot Chicken.
I was like, that is not last podcast on the left. They have had some really weird funnies, but never like that.
But I was gonna say, U-Turn to Madness is great because it's just creepy pastas, and Marcus and Ben take it serious, and Henry reads erotic fan fiction. And it's one of the best episodes for funny.
You know what's really great is that we're doing this podcast called 30 and Nerdy. My name is AJ.
Yeah, hurting for a squirtin'.
And I'm David.
I'm so nasty.
Your boy Brady.
Oh, me so horny. Me love you long time.
And I do believe David is gonna bring us in on this one.
Yeah, this is like cold open to the topic.
So I want to talk about a few things, but Topin, AJ, and I have been playing. I've probably played a little bit more than you have of PUBG.
Yep.
And I would like to say it's surprisingly a lot of fun for the amount of action that I see.
Yeah.
Because the very first time I played it, I jumped out into no man's land. Nobody was around me. I hoofed it for kilometers to get to the circle the first time.
The first time I played it, I died to just like the wall.
The environment.
Yep.
And I think I made it into the top 10 in my first game. And that's basically because I just hid.
Yeah.
I mean, I collected a lot of stuff and I had a lot of armor. The only problem I have with the Xbox One version is that it's not optimized. So it chugs a lot. And it is really hard for me to see where people are. Because all of a sudden, because I got into the last top 2 people in the first round or first game. I hadn't killed anybody because everybody else was just going at it. And I was like, I'm just here for just to try and survive for right now. And I didn't know any of the controls really, so I kept on like hobbling around because I would push B and then my guy would be hunched down. Then I push B and I'd be stand up and I'm like at the top of a hill, which is not a good. And so it was the small circle. It was the very last one because it was just me and another dude, and so it was kind of in a little culvert. And I was trying to make my way to it, and then he just shot me from somewhere. And it's really hard to tell where you're getting nailed from. And so, and most of the time when I get shot, I just start going, go serpentine, go serpentine. That's all I can think of. So I'll just start going in a serpentine fashion, and then they just waste all their ammo trying to hit me.
Yeah.
So it works, but at least for Xbox. If you have a really good graphics card, I'm assuming it wouldn't work as well on PC.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching somebody stream it, and it is beautiful on PC. At least the rig they were running.
It's wonderful on
Yeah, if you
PC,
have
but
one of
the
the-
Xbox version is... He really needs to work on it.
And I think it will. It'll get there in time. I mean, because we got
Until
it.
then, play Fortnite. It runs it perfect.
But
At least the PS4 version does. I still have not tested out the Xbox version.
And the thing I have started doing now is I got a headset, of course, because I think it'd be fun to play like duel, where you and I drop out, and I'm able to tell. Because before, I have to hope that the people like put a marker on the map, so I'd know this is where I'm going to be jumping out. Because I'd have to just sit there and stare at the back of the plane until I noticed their little markers were not in the plane anymore. But I play with the team of 4 because it's kind of fun to have 4 other people. You don't have to worry about at least 3 other people out of 100. And it is surprisingly, like I said, there's not a ton of combat unless you jump right into those huge areas like the
Yeah.
schools or the base or the this, that, or the other. But it is a lot of fun because I think my average lifespan is something like 24 minutes.
Not bad.
And that's mostly because of my first like 4 games where I sat on like the edge of the map and just slowly worked my way in and just picked up all the. And I don't really care about getting a lot of like the amazing weapons because every once in a while I get like a decent scope and an M16. I'm happy with that.
I do feel like the controls could be optimized better for Xbox as well. My main issue is, okay, so if you don't know, I finally, my wife pulled the trigger and let me buy an Xbox One so she could play video games with her family, and then I can play video games with you two because you guys primarily play on Xbox. So I'm so used to playing PS4 where I drop into Destiny and I'm doing just some public event and the fucking thing starts chugging. I'm like, is this normal? And Brady's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what? I've never seen frame drops on the PS4 version except for when we're doing the Hive Wizard where you have to like stand in the 2 circles over in Titan. Yeah. That's the only time frame drop happens.
There's a lot of NPCs on the screen at once there.
Yeah.
All those Thrall and
then the people and everybody's usually doing their super, and that's usually when it starts frying out. So to me, it's been kind of a difficult experience getting into the Xbox gaming because of how often it chugs. I'm surprised that a next gen, or a current gen console runs like that, and
it happens kind of rarely for me.
I don't
Just
know.
in the super mega intense.
Like Halo, I have the Master Chief Collection. It runs perfect. It runs at a smooth 60, no matter what. I've never seen frame drops. I have seen lag when I was playing online with you, but
that's just
that's lag. You can't control that.
And the infrastructure that 343 built for it's shaky. But it's getting a big new update.
Yeah,
sometime soon.
So, but let's see, like, but PUBG was like almost to the point to where like I couldn't even play it, and I felt bad that I spent all the money on it that I did, the full $30, which I understand, big whoop. Now you have Call of Duty World War II on Xbox.
Yep.
Me too.
It's really, and that one doesn't really drop at all. The only thing I hate is stupid shotgunners.
Yeah. So I would say, I don't know. Personally, I still like Fortnite. I haven't played Fortnite on Xbox yet. PUBG, if it gets optimized, it will be wonderful. It'll be great. It'll make Xbox great again.
Well, I mean, there's already like 1 million players that play the game.
Yeah, well, PUBG is like one of the biggest games right now.
Well, that's the annoying thing because everybody's getting into, I can't remember what it is, Red Dead Redemption 2, where they're like, this may have a battle royale system. It's like, why do you have not every game? This is just like single player games going, we need a multiplayer.
Well,
now multiplayer games like, we need a battle royale. No, you don't.
All I want for Red Dead 2 is co-op.
Good story and co-op.
Online co-op. See, that's all I want in big open worlds is just the ability to like
co-op. Yeah, I completely agree.
And Far Cry 5 is going to have that, and that makes me super excited.
You know what sucks? It's coming on PS4 for me.
Is it? I might get it on PS4.
You're not able to switch it?
I probably can, but PS4 runs so good. Fine, I'll get it on Xbox. Here, I'll switch it right now.
Don't you have a PS4, David?
Yeah.
You guys just letting them dust up.
No, I was playing.
Well, the reason
today.
I play my Xbox is that my PS4, for some reason, I tried cleaning it out and it just is going crazy. Like it'll get super hot just from playing Netflix. Like the fans will go.
Did you take it apart?
Yeah. And I've tried blowing it out and stuff like that.
Where do you keep it?
The only place I can have it. It's in an enclosed space. It's, roughly like where AJ has it.
But do you have the sides open out? Because that's where all the ventilation happens for the PlayStation's on the side. The Xbox is on the top and the side. The PlayStation is just a straight through one side in, one side out.
I was thinking of it.
The cooling system in those things is really built shittily. Here's the weirdest part about it is like Xbox is built with like pin precision perfection. Like they built their hardware, they know exactly how to do it.
I've always loved the Xbox hardware.
Whereas like PlayStation 4 has some of the jankiest shit on the inside of it. I took mine apart so I could clean it, and like the Bluetooth receiver that they built into these fucking consoles, which is also their Wi-Fi receiver, is just a piece of copper wiring running from the back of the system to the front to like a shitty metal clip. And that's their antenna for the system. I replaced mine with like an actual Wi-Fi antenna, and it works wonderful now.
Yeah. Just cutting costs.
I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, but my PS4 still outperforms my Xbox. Now, granted, that may change. You know, maybe just because like I'm still trying to get into it, and I'm still like deep down like, oh, PlayStation.
I don't have any duplicate games on consoles. Well, I guess I do have Destiny 1, and I've never noticed a difference at all.
D1 was built on a better structure.
Yeah.
By the time Taken King came out, like it was a really, 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 really good sandbox.
Yeah.
And then they did Destiny 2.
But I was playing my PS4 yesterday and today. Yesterday I was
Monster Hunter.
Today I was playing the new Battlefield 1 DLC that came out.
I kind of miss Battlefield.
Yeah, I'll play it all the time.
I was thinking of not Battlefield, but
Star Wars one,
Battlefront. And I was like,
playing
what? They put out a new one for Battlefront 1, and they have Battlefront 2 out. What the fuck are they doing?
I was playing World War 1 game. It's so fun.
All I ever do is be a sniper in that, though.
Yeah,
but it's so much fun.
I like doing support class, so I'm a big machine gun dude.
That's the only other one I can play because I can't do the single shot.
Yeah,
because I'm just so bad.
Well, they with the Shadow of the Tsar or something, whatever the last DLC was. Yeah, they introduced the Mosin Nagant as one of the guns you could unlock, and I have that gun in real life. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna bust my ass to get it in the game. I suck balls with it because it's the iron sights are just level like that. So like you have that small of an area to put on a dude that's like 1,000 yards away, and it's like I can't use this gun. And up close, it's equally as bad. But
I just have a problem because when I try and aim down the sights, there's just so much of the screen that gets taken up by the non-machine gun, and even the machine guns take up a huge amount of space. Whereas when I have the sniper, it's just the whole entire scope is the screen, so then it just is a lot easier for me. Plus, it's a lot of fun to try and pick people off from 500 yards.
Yeah.
Especially when you get in a sniper battle and then you're both shooting each other and your bullet just barely misses and you're like, I just need to correct it just a little bit, but I need to get my shot off before they correct theirs. So much fun. And while the battle's raging on and, you're just sniper battling.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what's happening. But you can actually...
Apple's being lost, who cares?
Yeah. I chose... because they have when you zoom in ADS, the gun gets blurry. And I turned that off, so everything's nice and crisp, and I find that helps a lot.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Because have you looked at the options you can change in that game? It's so extensive. Everything you can change. It's nice. I love that game. It's so fun.
I can't wait for the World War II version that's coming out. Battlefield's coming out with the World War II here.
Cool.
Sometime.
Good.
I don't know when, but I think this year, because there's lots of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is coming out.
Oh, I saw that.
I'm just hoping that they don't go like jump packs. I just want
even crazier.
Call of Duty Black Ops 2 just continued.
How can you get crazier than 3 though? That was insane.
3 was
it's fun.
3 was fun because it was jump packs, so it wasn't all this wall jumping everywhere.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad.
You could wall run still.
Yeah.
But...
It didn't seem as bad as Advanced Warfare or even whatever the one after that was.
But I kind of hope they
Infinite
focus
Warfare.
less on like the superhero-esque characters. that there were in Black Ops 3. That's still fun though. I like doing the ambush, dude. Putting down my
Stupid
hive
spikes in the
traps.
oh.
So you run over it and they eat you.
The one I hate is just because I usually play King of the Hill or whatever it is, not King of the Hill, Domination, and I just hate it because I'd always cap, and then there would be that guy with the sticks, and he just
The
could
gravity.
just pound the ground and
yeah.
just demolish like all 8 of us who were sitting there, even though you could only have 6 people on your team. But he would hit it so hard he'd kill 2 more people.
That's
All
some
right, there you go,
gameplay.
guys. It was a big pain in the ass. I had to create a new order and cancel my old one, but I did it. So you better get it on Xbox, or else
I'm gonna get it on PS4.
I'll get it on that. Are there any exclusives?
No,
If you
they're
probably
both-
order at GameStop.
PlayStation seems to be getting a lot of the exclusives lately, but I don't really buy games anymore for exclusives because it's just so
Wait.
dumb. It's like, oh, you get this new cool skin.
Is Far Cry Ubisoft?
Yeah.
I have all my Far Cry saves on PlayStation.
Cancel that order, AJ.
All right.
No, I'll get it on Xbox.
So, Monster Hunter World, how's that?
So awesome.
How awesome is it?
So awesome. It's everything I wanted from Destiny 2 without all the shittiness that is Destiny 2.
So what is the whole thing? Because I didn't really...
Yeah.
When the E3 trailer came out, I was like, I don't really care about this game. So
Well, there's this giant...
I understand that you hunt monsters, but besides that...
Yeah, there's this giant elder dragon that's walking towards the world, the inhabited world, called Zoro Magdaros. And he's this giant lava beast that's a dragon. And
Ragnaros?
yeah, he's not that he's really evil, but he's just this big lumbering thing, and if he gets to where he's going, he will explode and end all life. And you gotta stop him. And
Does he just keep on moving slowly, or...
Yeah, it's kind of like impending death. There's at one point you try to
3 days remain.
yeah, you try to.
Is it kind of like Majora's Mask or whatever, where you actually have a time limit?
That's what I was referencing.
I don't know. I never played it. But you got to, at a certain point, they try to corner him in this really big canyon area, and he just goes through. But it's awesome. It's, there's grind, rewarding grind, where you, your weapon is like, oh, I want, this kind of sword. It's like, oh, here's what the resources I need. I'm going to go grind this monster and get it. It's super rewarding.
I hear it's oversized monsters and oversized weapons.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I use a switch axe, which is, it's a gymongous axe, but then it switches to an elemental sword that you got to hit triangle and circle at the same time and then start tapping triangle, and it'll make this elemental blast. It's super cool.
They stole that from Bloodborne.
There's a ton.
Trick weapon.
It's been in the game the whole time, in all the Monster Hunters.
They stole from Bloodborne.
No, they didn't.
They
Bloodborne stole from there. But there, I see a lot of people are drawing parallels. Like, if you don't like Destiny 2 anymore, Monster Hunter is perfect, and they are completely right.
Well, free DLC for life.
Yeah,
You can't pass that up. That's
and
pretty
it's just
sweet.
funner. It's more fun. There's things to do in this game.
Did you just say funner?
Yeah,
Funner's not a word.
It's more fun. Like, I have zero need to go back to Destiny 2 ever again, unless to play with you.
Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to.
And-
If I'd known that you weren't gonna ever play it, though, I wouldn't have bought it.
No, I'll play with you. It's more fun to play with people, but I have no desire to play it, but I'll play it with you to have fun. How's that? And it's sad, I want to play it, it's just there's nothing to do anymore, and I don't care about what little there is left to do.
Well, I'm at 300 light now, so not happy with my gear. Already RNG in that game's fucking me.
Yep.
So I have 2 exotics. I have the Cold Steel gun and the...
Cold Steel.
Oh, wait.
That's blue steel.
That's Blue Steel. Trace...
Oh, the Cold Heart.
Cold Heart, whatever
Okay.
the fuck. And then I have that scout rifle that goes in your secondary. The Red Legion one.
Oh, yeah.
Skyburner's Oath.
That one's cool. It's
So,
fun.
I have those 2 exotics, right? So, like, I get 2 exotic engrams to drop. Guess what they turn into?
What?
Skyburner's Oath,
Yeah.
Cold Heart.
And Cold Heart? No way.
And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me already? I'm already getting the fucking shaft with this shit. Very unhappy. But what am I going to do? I'm like the only person that actively still plays Destiny because it's a really good game to sit there. Like, I don't need to try when I play that game.
Yeah.
And I think it's turning me into a lazy gamer because I've tried to go back and play like Dark Souls. And it's just like, I'm dying to like the opening boss. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah.
I've been playing too much Destiny. That's my issue. I'm just getting everything just handed to me. Like, here you go. Here's a nice little pat on the bottom.
Yeah.
Put a little baby pat, pop, pop, pop. Speaking of babies, watched Boss Baby the other day.
Yeah, I actually like that movie.
Oscar-nominated Boss Baby.
It was actually good. Fucking watch it. I know I've made a shit ton of jokes about it. I was like, oh, look, it's the...
Trump.
Donald Trump's baby story.
See, I never even made that correlation. I just was like, oh, Alec Baldwin playing a baby.
It's good.
Yeah, I liked it. My son loves it.
I've
He'll
heard
come into
to
my room
watch,
at like 6 a.m. Boss Baby.
Lola wasn't really into it. Me and KJ enjoyed it more than Lola did. Same thing with Despicable Me 3. We rented that today. Me and KJ ended up enjoying it more than Lola did. She got happy for Minions, and then once they were gone, she was gone.
Yeah.
I like the Minions. I'm the same way with my kids. They'll be like, oh, you want to watch Minions?
I hate Minions.
And I don't mind that movie. I think it's funny.
I hate the idea of Minions. I'm the guy who would nail a Minion to a cross and burn it
Yeah, I would. It's
in front of Gru's
Queen's
house.
Whose house?
Gru.
Guy from Despicable Me.
Oh, sorry.
Steve Carell's character.
I've seen the first one. It was over here, I think.
Yeah.
The first one's not a bad movie.
No, the first one's really good. The second one is all right. And the third one, though, I think is cream of the crop. It's got Trey Parker in it from fucking
South Park.
South Park.
Voice
And
of
like,
Eric Cartman, and Mr. Garrison.
and it's really funny because like he plays like this this bratty like 80s. He was a child star and he was a bad guy, whatever. And every now and then, like you hear a little bit of Stan's dad come out, and then you hear Cartman come out,
Really?
and they're both kind of trading off. And I'm like, it's Cartman when he goes up, and then hi-ho!
You're a bad kid.
So I don't know. I highly recommend watching some of these shitty kid movies because they're not that shitty. And I'm sorry I made fun of Boss Baby so much because it was actually decent.
I believe you, and I know your word is sound, but I'm going to respectfully
Decline? That's
Decline.
fine. I completely
It might be a
understand.
little weird if you sat down by yourself and watched Boss Baby, but like if you're over here and you just happened to watch it when Lola was, and you're like, oh, it's not a bad movie.
Kid movies are fine.
Yeah, I'm never going to watch Boss Baby on my own.
But I'll sit down and watch it with my kid.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm like really super high, I might. Like, oh, fuck yeah.
I think that movie would freak you out if you were stoned, man. A little bit.
What if I like huff
All
some
these
gas?
babies, oh, dude, you'd be like, these fucking babies are talking. They're taking notes.
We did that once. I don't think we did it right. We just like did one deep inhale and very sick and very bad headache.
Yeah, it's terrible. Don't huff gas.
I think we needed to get higher octane.
just don't do it. It's really fucking horrible.
If you're gonna,
You're better off
hey,
like
kids,
doing
If you're gonna do drugs, make sure you do good quality.
if you're gonna do
want
drugs,
laundry
do
detergent.
something safe like weed. Is in my opinion safe.
Or find a hobby.
Find a hobby. Collect stamps. It's really great. Coins.
Stamps.com.
Stamps.
Coins are
Stamps.com.
cool.
Do you know how much I hate shipping?
Oh man, post offices. Am I right?
Yeah, we're not doing this because they're not paying
I
us.
know.
Though, Stamps.com, if you're listening, we will totally shill ourselves for you.
All right, but anyway, the real topic I
Research
wanted to
Hollow
push
Moon.
forward was I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with Michael Shermer, and he had some new book coming out. And it's something like Heaven and Hell and Finding Utopia, where he goes through all the Abrahamic religions and whether or not you can know there's a heaven or a hell, all this kind of stuff. Michael Shermer, of course, is came up with the American Skeptic Society.
So does this guy believe in the heaven and hell as told by?
He does not. He believes
Does not?
he doesn't believe in a god. He tends more towards the agnostic side than atheist. Though I mean,
I'm just
6
trying
and 1
to
half dozen
feel him
another.
out, who he is.
But he says he's totally open to the idea that he just doesn't know what's on the other side. So because the main
show me evidence and I'll fucking change instantly.
and that's the thing I liked is that he and even Christians I think should enjoy this sentiment that I'm not in heaven. I'm not in that place right now. What I need to live for is right here and right now. And
I wish
during that
it
podcast,
could be like
he
that.
said that this is I don't know heaven. I can't experience it right now. What I do know and what I can experience is this life right here and right now. And so this is what I need to live for.
Yeah.
If there is
I'd
something
agree with
afterward,
that.
then we'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll not burn it, but you'll cross it.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying. Some of the interesting things that they talked about in this podcast was, and I'm trying to think of his name, and I could remember the name all day today because I just had the podcast just kind of
Is
going through my mind. But the guy who wants to upload the brain by like 2045, Ray Kurzweil.
Ray Kurzweil.
Ray Kurzweil is one of the main people who wants to, by 2045, because I think they're saying that that's when singularity is supposed to happen, because it was like 2030, then it was 20,
Actually, it was supposed to be 2017.
but it keeps on getting pushed back. And so 2045 now is about the time that they think that they will be able to have the computing power to upload a brain into the computer.
Yeah.
And the whole, and kind of sad his story, because he apparently in his basement has like all of his dad's effects and stuff like that, because his dad passed away and he really didn't get a chance to bond or have this kind of relationship he wanted to have with him. And so he wants to upload. I don't know if I'm assuming he doesn't have his dad's pattern.
Right.
So, but I think he wants to give people that ability to live forever or live for a long
It's a
period of
passion
time.
project. That's cool.
Yeah. And the interesting thing to me during this whole entire thing was because they were talking about, if there is a heaven, and what would you look like? What makes you you? And divorcing the idea of is there a heaven? Whatever. I really wanted to kind of fixate on what makes you you, because they kind of talked about all your cells regenerate and they
Every
replicate
7
7 to
years,
10
7
years
years
is the new you.
that so your cells aren't you.
Every
your physical
atom
body,
in your body is new.
the only ones that don't are your neurons do not replicate. So I mean, what makes you you? Because they're also talking like, if you had a nose job, would you have your old nose? If you
Look
at
at
this side of the other.
Renee Zellweger just got a shit ton of plastic surgery, so she wasn't all squinty anymore. Now she's all weird looking.
Wide-eyed.
Wide-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah, what
And so
does
just
she look like?
that was
So-
the idea that really kind of struck with me. Is that what makes you you?
I've thought about that a lot.
your thoughts and
You know what's funny is I actually just read. So I've talked about it before multiple times on the show. When I'm trying to fall asleep, I generally read horror stories, or right now I'm going through like short story compilations that are supposed to be horror stories. And I just got done reading one called New You. It's pretty much about this guy who he can't really afford the change that he wants, but he can go on a TV show and do it. And pretty much they'll change you into whatever you want to be. And they'll do all the physical stuff with you, and you have to do that stuff. But then they'll change you mentally with drugs and everything else and completely change who you are and everything you ever thought by altering your your brain chemistry and heavy psychological, pretty much
Conditioning.
torture. Yeah, because they'll do trepanning, they'll do psychological torture to change.
Break you down and rebuild you.
Yeah, essentially. And so, like, the whole story was about, like, this guy where he was just kind of, like, upset with his life because no chick ever wanted to stay with him. And he gets changed into, like, an everyday fucking dude, bro, is what he ends up getting changed into. And the big kicker at the end of it is he becomes the star of the show, and some guy comes on the show. And he goes, "Oh, you look familiar, but who'd you used to be?" And he goes, "I'm pretty sure you knew who I used to be." Because it was the old host, and he's getting changed now.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's just this perpetual cycle, people constantly getting changed and changed and changed and rechanged. So, if that were to happen in a modern society, like, I mean, that's a good question. What does make you you? Now, me, I always think scientifically about these things. So, the way your neurons are built, your experiences, and the way that you comprehend things is what makes you you. Yeah, I have this shitty body.
Yeah.
Is it me? Yeah.
It's an aspect of you.
It's an aspect, but everything. I'm in my head. I'm my brain. That's all I am.
That's how I see. I see our body as our vessel, and our brain is piloting it.
And because I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to divorce the idea of heaven and hell and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
just
most definitely.
Get to the what makes you you, but also then putting into that the computer aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because if you upload, I mean, a computer works in a certain specific way. I mean, there's a file, it stays in that place unless you physically move it, and it reads it, and it reads it, and it reads it the same way every time, unless it crashes or does something odd. But the file doesn't ever change.
That's the thing with the singularity. Whereas, like, if we were able to update your full intelligence to a computer, your wave file and everything else that goes with that, your file would constantly change because all of your experiences are still going to change.
It's like cookies.
It's like.
But see, the interesting thing is because the way that we remember things now is always different almost every time that we think about it.
I mean, most definitely.
So,
our
I mean,
our
and how would
memory
it-
is completely shit.
And how would a computer then be able to look back at a memory that is yours? Is it really yours, or is it remembering a facsimile of a facsimile of a facsimile?
And that's exactly.
And that's the problem I get is that if you do get uploaded, or if you're able to copy yourself to the computer, so there's you, quote unquote, that's in the computer, you technically could also still be outside the computer, unless you have to die in order for yourself to go into the computer.
That's the only way I would do it.
But
Yeah, because that would really. I start having issues comprehending the idea of two me's living at the same time.
It's
well,
like
because
the,
it wouldn't
uh,
be
in
you,
the same
because
timeline?
because as soon as it's interesting with like twins, because they have separate experiences. So as soon as one of you, and of course it's going to happen, you're going to have different experiences.
Yeah.
You are not you anymore, or the you that's there is not you anymore. They're now their own being, entity, person, whatever.
I know that you guys are probably going to laugh at me, but whatever. But there's that Star Trek Next Generation.
I'm laughing you.
Yeah. There's that Next Generation episode.
You want to swallow this tree?
Yeah, I do.
Sorry, it's from the last podcast. Because that's how AJ started. He's like, David, you want to swallow this tree?
I have no clue what the fuck was going on with me.
Anyway, I thought it was hilarious when I was editing. I was like,
When
All right,
when I was
let's
listening to it, I was
roll
like,
with it.
what the fuck am I saying? And that's why I texted David that, and he's like, dude, you were like so tired. You didn't even know what words were coming out of your mouth. I was like, clearly not. Why the fuck would I say, well, do you want to swallow this tree? Anyway.
that's going to be AJ's t-shirt.
Yeah. You want to swallow this tree? Which is really funny because when I play Jackbox games, I'm always the pooping tree. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So there's that episode of Next Gen where they find a Riker
Yeah.
that got refracted down, so he never got beamed aboard. Because what happens in beaming technology is it completely disarrays you and creates a whole new you.
Yeah.
And deletes the old you. And that's what beam technology is. Now, like, if you go all the way back to the very first series, they talk about in the original series where they had to make up whether it was a danger to go through that, because you would be ultimately denying yourself the ability to go to heaven.
Yeah.
Which is something that they touch upon in the original series.
Even in Enterprise, they touch upon.
Yeah, most definitely they got into it on Enterprise because they weren't beaming themselves
with
yet.
the communications officer, I forget her name, but she got beamed and wasn't completely there. She was stuck in limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
But I mean, so the Riker that came back, he ended up becoming a number 1. Whereas Riker that got stuck on the planet, completely different guy. But they're both living in the same timeline.
Yeah.
And they're technically the same person, same genetic makeup, same everything.
But they're different.
Different experiences.
Yeah.
And so the idea of having a me here and then having a me in a digital world, whose versions of eyes do I end up going with? Who do I get to be afterwards? Am I the digital me or am I me? Am I the physical plane of me, or would all of my...
Is the real you the neurons and the brain makeup, basically, the patterns?
Yeah, because ever since I was a kid, I always had this weird idea of literally seeing the world through somebody else's eyes, where I'm alive now and I'm the only person who's ever going to see this vision. What I see, I'm the only person that will ever see it. Now, if I were to do that, does that change? Are they going to see whatever vision gets uploaded to, whatever kind of utopia or shitty dystopia ends up being put onto the computer? Now a version of me is still seeing through those eyes, but it's still me, and it fucks with my head too. Where it's like there's this disconnection, and I can't.
Well, because it's kind of hard.
I can't grapple it because I don't think our brains are meant to comprehend these type of things.
Our brains were meant to find food, not die, and to mate.
Well, and the big thing I think is that there is
we're asking a lot of it.
There is a finite amount of time, and they kind of hit on this in that podcast that you have about 80 years, 90, 100, something. 60 to 100 years is roughly about the lifespan of.
And unless you're an old school biblical guy, then you get like 4,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I think there's like
or 1,500.
Methuselah was like 900 something.
Oh, was it? I could have sworn like somebody lived over
That's
in the
how old
Grand.
Yoda.
Yeah.
Poor Yoda, man. I could not imagine being alive that long. Like, I'd be like, kill me.
Because part of me, my own makeup, I think the one reason I love vampire stories and vampire lore is that part of me wants to live forever. Part of me wants to be able to see many lifetimes worth of things, to be able to indulge in many different facets of life over hundreds or thousands of years. And so I think that's why my penchant towards older versions of the vampire stuff and like the Sookie Stackhouse series, and why I enjoy it so much is because there's part of me that really doesn't want to let this life go.
Well, yeah.
And it's interesting because they talked about, if you sat down, AJ, how long do you want to live? And most people are like, I'd like, 80 good years, a good long life. But then once you get to that 80, you're like, well, I'd like just a little bit more time because I have some stuff I need to finish up. Okay, well, we've come to that time. I want a little bit more time. I want a little bit more time.
Yeah, you're always going to ask for more.
And I think that you kind of, that having that kind of finality is that you need to you have this finite amount of time, and I think our brains are not wired to live forever.
No.
Either biologically or philosophically, that you have this amount of time, and then you need to, whether evolutionary ideals or just that you have this amount of time you need to do stuff in, and it's not really, it's not compatible with our makeup to live forever.
Well, I just
Besides maybe in the idealist way that you
scientists
don't want to
are
let go of this life.
looking at aging as a disease instead of
so
a
I was actually going to bring that up. I watched this documentary,
period.
about how they're working on growing back. I think they're called telomeres or whatever.
Yep.
They're the tail ends of a cell that don't regenerate. They're trying to make them regenerate. So then if they do, you can systematically, your body will keep regenerating at a healthy, because what happens is those break down. So that's why your body breaks down. Mm-hmm. They're trying to make it so then those don't break down, so you don't break down. And they're trying to unlock, eternal life. I mean,
there's still probably so many biological things going on that
Well, the
would
interesting thing-
I would think like mentally at some point your brain would just overload.
yeah, it
and
just fry. It's like, okay,
Because I couldn't imagine, like, we sort of know how our brains do work, and I mean, I think that's like a huge issue of things right now is that we don't comprehend how our brains work. It's
Well, that's
still
the
like
thing. I mean, because we don't even understand.
unknown depth to us. It's like the ocean.
yeah.
We know it's there. We know the basics of it, but we have no idea what's in there.
I think that'll probably be the hardest part of putting your consciousness into a computer is we have to make a computer that can emulate what the brain does to a T.
I mean, I think Singularity will do that in the amount of information that it can process, but I think that the big thing is
that's like
consciousness.
a massive hurdle. Yeah, what is consciousness?
And I mean, we haven't even we don't even understand what consciousness is or how it comes about or how.
I mean, we still don't even understand if we truly have a freedom of will or not.
Yeah.
Because your brain makes that decision like 10 seconds before you do.
Even they say dolphins might have consciousness. Dolphins might know that they are dolphins and exist.
No, dolphins definitely do know.
And so, what is it?
You know what's
Why
crazy?
is it just a checklist on an evolutionary page? Like, all right, you've got to this level. All right, you know you exist now. Your brain can just do that because it's big enough and good enough.
All right, so like let's use another Star Trek euphemism here. Why the fuck not? I've already opened that door. I've already
It's good
started
for
eating
it.
that tree. So
And sometimes you just gotta eat the tree.
Data, he understands who he is. He understands what he is and everything, and he can compute all these things, but he still doesn't have full. What's the word I'm looking for? Where you know who you are. He talks about like overcoming it a lot throughout the entire series.
Self-aware,
Yeah, it's a fancy word for self-awareness is what it is.
cognizance.
Maybe.
Well, while you're looking that up, I think the point I was trying to go for is that, and once again, I'm just parroting a lot of what they've said on this podcast, but it is an interesting point that if we reach that point where we are able to live for more than the usual allotted amount of time, then it kind of will bring in new hurdles that we haven't even foreseen about.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just like you said, I mean, the mind will probably just go crazy, or you may be so outdated because you're used to 1950 and it's now 2050. And, in that 100-year span, how much has changed? Because, I mean, I remember there was a lady who lived with us from New York, and her family didn't really take care of her or do anything, so we became her surrogate family. And she and her husband moved out with us. He passed away shortly after we moved here. She lived to be like 103.
Gosh.
And I mean, my goodness, the amount of stuff she saw from horse and buggy to landing on the moon in her lifetime.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the craziness of what you would experience. I mean, let alone what's the, where technology continues to double itself.
Oh, it's Moore's Law. I
Moore's
believe.
Law, yeah. And so, I mean, sooner or later, we're going to end Moore's Law the way that we know it, at least without quantum processing, and then it will start again until
a new set of Moore's of laws.
It'll be like Aleph No #1 for computers. But it'll be interesting because at the same time of not knowing consciousness, I mean, when you're in the computer, if they're able to do this, will you have emotion? Will you be able to have that? And that's the hard thing, because it's almost an ineffable quality that you can't. I mean, what makes you you? Is it your experiences, your passions, your brain, the way that you think?
It's
And
just a bunch of combinations of 4 letters.
So the word I was looking for was sentience. It's something that every human being goes through in the beginning of their lives. Is because when babies are born, they don't know that they're a person.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to actually kind of see them come into their. I mean,
Yeah, like
and it doesn't
so
happen.
to watch my daughter gain her sentience was amazing. To finally have her be able to look at something and be like, "That's me. That's me."
Yeah.
It was
really is interesting.
That's
'Cause
another baby.
It's not like it doesn't happen like that. I mean, it probably does to them, but I mean, us as the observer, like all of a sudden, my wife and I will be sitting in bed and we'll talk. Riker's not a baby anymore because he's talking, he's doing all this stuff. He's actually acting like his own individual person instead of like a little brat.
We're
who just
doing the
wants to
same
poop
thing
his
with
pants.
Lola. We're just every day, like just yesterday or 2 days ago when she was eating her mac and cheese, like to watch her have like the full motor skills to eat. And I was just like, I can't even comprehend right now her eating with utensils because she's growing into humanity and she's learning to use the tools around her. And I know it's like so silly to think about, like it's this mind-blowing thing to watch your kid eat with a fucking spoon. Like, oh yeah, well, my fucking retarded cousin.
Sometimes
eats with
I
a
miss
spoon.
my mouth, so it is pretty. It's crazy.
But I mean, to watch it happen at such a young age, and to watch like somebody go from a crying
Poop factory.
essentially, where the only thing in their
Not
brain
much changes
is
in life.
No,
feed me,
that's true.
feed me, change me, feed me, change me. That's pretty much all they live for. To turn into what she is now, where she has an attitude, she has personality, she has her own quirks, she has her own sense of humor. And it's so crazy to watch this shit like develop. It's just like she's becoming a person. She's
Yeah.
becoming her own person. And to watch her gain her own sentience is crazy. And it's something that everybody goes through. If we were to be uploaded, would we have to redo that?
See, I don't think so, because I mean, you're basically just uploading all of your memories, all of
one to
what makes
one.
you.
So if you're doing one big memory dump, then you can just pretty much comprehend that from there on out, you don't have to worry about it because then that's a different person.
That's why I wouldn't do it while I was still alive. Like terminal on my deathbed's like transfer.
I've kind of talked to KJ about the idea of doing this because my body is a wreck. I've got part of me wants to know, like, if I were to be able to be uploaded to a system, if they could fix some of my issues, where like fix my depression,
Tweak it, like patch.
yeah, like patch my brain,
Yeah, probably.
so then I no longer have depression. But then
Just don't let
Well, see,
Bungie
but
do
that's
it,
the thing
'cause
that
would I
it'll take
become a
forever.
different person? Because I don't know what life is like without depression, and I've said this many times on this podcast.
I've thought things like that too.
And where it's like, would I be a completely different person if that were to suddenly just magically fix overnight? Would I still be me? I don't know.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to believe I would be, but part of me is scared that I wouldn't.
Well, see, my thing is, if I was to be uploaded, because the way that even computer viruses work, I mean, there's a chance that either system failure. I mean, it has the same kind of drawbacks as being a human. You can get hit by a bus, fall off a
Yeah.
cliff,
Data
die in war,
corruption.
data
And
corruption.
undercook your chicken just a little.
I mean,
A bad file transfer.
And so, I mean,
this happens.
Somebody trips over the USB cord and half a David gets uploaded. And you're just a... You're a
I just
husk.
picture it being something like Lawnmower Man, where
Oh God! Don't! Do not sully Stephen King's great literary piece, The Lawnmower Man, about the great god Pan. Don't sully it with that piece of shit movie. That movie should have just been called The Cyber Wars, like it was supposed to be called, instead of just pasting the Lawnmower Man onto it. Oh, Whew. You're gonna get me all heated.
but it's
No,
not this-
I understand your.
because I would just be afraid that there would be some horrible virus that, because I mean, we still are getting infected by viruses that are years old that should have been eradicated, but they just continue to replicate and
Oh, you mean
bot
this
itself out and
really shitty fucking flu that's going around?
that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Common cold.
the common cold. Yeah.
But it would be interesting. I mean, there would be some amazing, if, I mean, you know, this is a big if you were able to solve all these problems, not have a problem uploading your consciousness, have it be the real copy of you or the real you, to be able to, that would be the time when I would, if all the bugs were worked out and everything was hunky-dory, to be able to go and shoot yourself into space, because then you're just a robot, basically, that's able to not have the limitations of a physical body that's going to break down as you try and travel through deep interstellar space. And hopefully by then you also have better than, you know, stupid rocket fuel to liquid oxygen.
Major Tom to ground control.
Yep. That'd be nice.
I like that song.
It's good. Bowie has some good stuff, even though he's a rapist.
Was he?
Yeah. What I was saying earlier is that I've talked about to KJ about this. Like, what if I could just upload my consciousness to a different body? And she was like, no, because it's not you.
And that is the interesting thing, because unless
Disagree.
it's the only thing that it wouldn't, that would be you, is if it was basically almost like a BJ Blazkowicz, where your whole body has been uploaded into this, like your head got stuck on an android body, so it was still you, but just
Spoiler alert.
Oh, if you haven't played the game by now, then my goodness.
I don't know how any of that happens or what it means, so.
Oh, I mean, I've said it a million times. I don't care about spoilers, but I'm pretty sure somebody out there's like, what? What the fuck?
You can come yell at me on our Facebook page.
Yeah. Leave a comment.
Yeah. But if it's to a point where we've cloned monkeys now, and I'm assuming that humans will be at some point in time, and if you're able to then take your consciousness and put it into a new body, then that's where I would have that moral or ethical dilemma, because that is a real person that you're either just keeping on ice until you can take their brain out and stick your brain in.
I don't think we should clone people. We should clone organs, good organs, but I don't think a full person. That just has way too many.
I think it should be done, honestly, to see if it can be done. We've done it with sheep. I don't know that they did it with monkeys. I thought we outlawed cloning.
They just did it with monkeys not too long ago.
Oh,
Like
From
very
what-
recently.
from what I understood, like that shit was all legal now.
I'm assuming there's
you
probably
could-
somewhere in the world you can do it.
But there's always a way. I mean, like, yeah.
The dark web. Get your Tor browser.
The onion router. Wow. But anyway, like, and then so let's say like we keep talking about like uploading. Where the fuck are we uploading to?
The mainframe.
To the cloud.
See, and that's the thing.
This big, giant server bank.
That's the thing. Like, all that shit is still physical media. Like, it all still exists on either SSD or a platter or, you know, some sort of physical media.
Whatever technology they have to be able to do all this.
You know, in
And
the
you're never
future,
going to get
may-
away from that unless you're able to actually find an alternate dimension where consciousness can be.
I think
Well,
the worst
they
thing.
are
Departed from the
developing
body.
data crystals now.
Yeah, there definitely is that. But I mean, I think what it comes down to is you're still going to run into the same issue that we ourselves as humanity is going to run into, is that no matter what, a time will end for us. There will be a point in time where humanity does not exist anymore.
When the sun envelops.
Because, no matter what, like, let's say some supervise goes through, you know,
It could literally
the only
happen
place and
what goes through?
what did I say?
I have no clue.
Super virus.
Super virus. There we go. I heard super.
Oh, sorry.
And I was like, is that a comet that I just don't know? Some
No,
giant rock from space.
That's its name.
I mean, but definitely that too.
Yeah.
The super the giant rock that's coming. There's no rock coming, I promise. That I know of. But anyway,
Dwayne Johnson.
yeah, the Rock, he's coming.
Oh yeah.
He's like, make way, make way. This is a Moana joke. But anyway,
It's another good kid movie.
so
Excellent
like,
movie.
if a super virus were to sweep through all of humanity and everybody died, the only place that would have power is the hydroelectric Hoover Dam. Every other power plant in the entire world will automatically shut down without human intervention. That one is set to keep running for up to, I think it's like 250 years.
What about the Three Lakes Dam in China? Biggest dam ever.
Yeah, but it's not as consistent.
You know, that actually will have effect on the Earth's rotation.
All dams do.
Crazy.
All dams affect the
damn
Earth's
it.
rotation.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
look,
cool.
look at that river. Ah, damn it.
Don't break those dams down. They're terrible. They're a terrible thing to the entire ecostructure of our water system.
But it's fun to say sometimes.
Yeah, it sure is. God damn it. Damn that dam. Damn it.
We went on a tour of
Double damn that damn
the
dam.
Table Rock Lake Dam in Branson, Missouri before 9/11.
Uh-huh.
And the tour guide just loved it. And like, my name's Steven, I'm your dam tour guide today. This is a dam railing. I'm on, hold on, it's kind of slippery down here. It's like, oh.
But yeah, like that's the last place that's ever going to have power in the entire world is there. And we don't have any way to change that right now. So, okay, so the future happens and we kind of safeguard towards this, but we're still going to lose people digitally because if those servers like crash, you're going to be sitting there fucking your partner and then they just...
I mean, are you going to need... Sex won't really be a drive anymore.
Bull
That's a
crap, dude. I
biological-
still want to get stinky in my hang down even if I'm a bunch of zeros at once.
Because it's not going to be a biological imperative to spread your seed since all you have to do is copy yourself. Just, I'm going to copy 27 Davids.
Did Barkley still write his holograms? Did Barkley still write his...
I heard the question, I just don't understand it.
Yeah, he banged all
Lieutenant Broccoli.
I understand
Yeah.
that.
He had he programmed those holograms purely for fucking and making fun of.
Yeah, but he
the-
still had a physical
Yeah,
form.
he had a physical body. You wouldn't need that because all you are is you're looking out. I mean, I don't know. You wouldn't need the eyes anymore.
I don't know, like picture kind of like that Black Mirror episode, Saint Juniper or whatever.
Yeah,
or,
San Junipino. You're not going to be sitting there constantly thinking it's like, I'm not real. You're just going to be like, whoa, this feels weird, real.
It'd just be something that you could alter with your mind because
Yeah,
it's
just
a digital landscape.
Snap it. You could probably fly. You're going to be too busy to think.
We're turning this into the Matrix real fucking fast.
It's the Matrix.
You know what's going to happen is that they'll make it a utopia, and then just like in the Matrix, it'll crash because people are used to terrible things happening. That's how our brains are programmed. Our brains are literally programmed to concentrate on the shitty things that happen to us, and to put the good things that happen to us to the side.
And that was the interesting thing that they kind of came up with at the end of the podcast is utopia attainable? And the answer is no. Because everywhere you always have people trying to vie for power. And then he used the quotation from, I think, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where Clint Eastwood said, there are two types of people in the world, those who have loaded pistols and those who dig. So there's always going to be someone in power, and there's always going to be the people who are doing the work for the powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And so so that's why utopia, no matter what kind of government you put into it, whether it's democracy, dictatorship, theocracy, whatever
Kind of ocracy.
Look at,
they can think
like
of.
I said in the
that
last
episode of
podcast.
Star Trek where Wesley gets sentenced to death for falling on flowers. It's all happy-go-lucky sex planet until somebody breaks a rule nobody knows about.
What about everyday boring old sex?
And then they brought up a really interesting thing.
This is a bunch of ones and zeros.
No, it's something that Riker says in one of the Star
Oh,
Trek
yeah.
episodes.
So just
I'm really like focusing on Star Trek today.
well, because it touches a lot on this kind of stuff.
'Cause it's
Yeah.
I mean,
awesome.
especially with Data and either gaining sentience and does he have feelings and emotions without the chip?
What
I
about
still think he
Lal?
does, kind of, in a small sense.
I still, I believe that there's some part of him that still does feel from his experiences.
Another interesting thing that they brought up, and I would be interested to see how you guys react to this. But
Hit me.
the idea of, and this is totally not anywhere near the sentience and whatever. But the idea of there's one man on a railroad track and then 5, and you can pull the switch.
I don't want to talk about this.
No, but it just is interesting because there's two posits to this, and it really is quite interesting to think about. Because would you kill the one to save the 5? And the answer is usually, probably overwhelmingly, yes. Without knowing the background of, is there a dirty rapist that you know is in the 5, and you're going to kill him at the sake of the other 4? They're people. You're saving the more for the 1.
There's no right answer.
But the interesting thing is then they say, okay, well, would you save all of them if you could? You're now at a vantage point at a bridge above the train, and you can push somebody off off onto the tracks. The train will stop, and you'll save all 6 people. And then overwhelmingly, they found in the study that nobody would do that because it's something disconnected from pulling a switch to pushing somebody and physically causing
you're
a crime.
physically doing it instead
And
of.
I always think that's interesting because it's the same thing.
It's like
It's
that
just you're
movie, The
detached.
Box, where you push this button, you get
$1 million.
$1 million, and somebody dies.
Yeah.
Just so happened that somebody pushed that and you died.
Yeah,
Oh, and you're in purgatory. I like that movie.
like Lost.
I mean, I like the short that came out. Thanks for ruining it.
Yeah.
Still to watch it.
I don't know. I saw one where it was like 1,000 fertilized embryos and then a baby, and then it was a lifer who had the switch. Like, what do you do? An actual baby or a bunch of fertilized embryos?
That have the potential for being a baby.
Yep.
I mean, but then you're breaking down to is masturbation murder, because every sperm has the ability to become.
Every sperm is sacred. Every sperm is great. If a sperm is wasted, God gets quite irate.
I missed that hymn.
It's from what, Life of Meaning of Life. Monty
Monty
Python.
Python is so sacrilegious but so hilarious.
It's great. I don't know, like,
I
but
just enjoy those kind of moral
well,
quandaries.
here's the funny thing is
there
that
really isn't a right answer or a wrong answer.
you were talking about the heaven and hell aspect, and you said that you weren't going to bring it into it, but my brain has just been focused on the aspect of you upload your consciousness to a computer. Which one of you goes to hell, and which one of you continues? Like would you know that you went to heaven or hell, one way or the other? I mean, I guess you would, but at the same time, like,
Well, I think that would then diverge into where, because
soul's real.
Well, how does a soul made?
What
just
is
like
a soul?
Whether it's through
it's
a
a
clone.
fruit of pygmy. Dark Souls. The fruit of pygmy that started the fire, the original fire. God damn yeah!
It's always burning.
As the world was turning.
I think it would be on an individual basis then that if we're positing this, that it's going to be that they
I don't know.
both
I
potentially
think
have.
I think the way
ideal.
that my brain has been sitting here tumbling it is made it way
It's
more
like
convoluted.
Like thought experiment. God's real. You're just putting like a big middle finger up to him. It's like, hey, I'm in a computer now. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You can have my soul.
Well, I think
because I'm going to
technically,
continue living.
Yeah.
I think that technically then
Suck.
there is this idea because if you are putting God on the table, then you're not really taking anything as possible. Then, because I mean, if he can create a world and a universe and heaven and hell, then he can also be like, okay, there's divergence between this person. He's now a new person. There's a soul that is attached to this new person, just like if he was made a baby. So I mean that
opens up a whole nother 1,000 ends of this.
It's a big can of worms.
Yeah.
But really, I just thought that'd be something interesting to talk about today.
Well, yeah, most definitely.
But
And
I did want to say that if, like what KJ said, if your head was stuck on a robot body, or that it wouldn't be you, I disagree. I think if you, like, all right, I'll be back in a week, and you come in, you got a nice, sleek, shiny alloy body, and you can lift a building because you're a robot.
Well, no, like,
But it's still you and your voice and your mannerisms. Like, yeah, it's just he's in a different vehicle now. It's still him. He just looks different.
As long as the body isn't inhabited by anything previous to it, and it's just a
well, yeah, it would be uploaded to like an android body.
Yeah, like a robot body.
Yeah, where like I would still have skin and everything else, but it would be made.
It's like that in the end of Chappie.
Yeah, essentially.
It's still the dude. He's just in a different body.
Yeah.
I don't think
When are you gonna bring me back my Neil Blomkamp?
I have
trilogy?
it. I just have to bring it.
I've been wanting to watch.
Baptist borrowing it right now.
Oh, most definitely. He's had it for like a year.
That's not Baptist borrowing. That's just borrowing.
But
come talk to me, Brady, when you've had it for years.
okay,
like my Passion of the Christ.
I've had it for maybe 3
gone.
years.
I don't
That's
know where
gone.
it
You had my Passion of the Christ for like 7+ years, and it's just like, oh, counting. Did you hear they're making a sequel?
Yeah,
What are they gonna
Passion
do?
2. I bet you anything it's like that fucking Family Guy episode with Mel Gibson, and it's just all like, Jesus is back. No, I mean, I have no idea what the fuck they're
well,
going to
then
do with it.
you're losing out on the Jewish audience. It hasn't happened yet. We don't know.
Well, the Jews don't believe it's going to happen.
They don't even really believe in the Messiah hasn't come yet.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the Jews.
They're basically the first couple books of the Bible, the Torah.
Don't just call them the Jews.
That's
like,
what they are. The Jews, the Christians, the Mennonites, the Sikhs, the Muslims,
It's just the
Zeta
you were like,
Reticulans.
I don't know much about the Jews. Like,
Oh, I'm inflected too hard.
yeah,
sorry.
because like in my brain is all like, oh,
Sorry, Jews. This was a fun conversation. We should talk about more metaphysical things.
I enjoy these kind of conversations because I feel like over the years, since I didn't do anything with my intelligence, I just kind of let it sit on the back burner. It's really nice to really, work my brain to comprehend incomprehensible things, or at least attempt to comprehend them. Because
And see, that's because even though talking about this, I still feel like I've made zero headway because I still don't understand. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those ineffable qualities where it's hard to pinpoint down.
It's like we have already stated though, we're not meant to think like this. We're not meant. Our brain's sole purpose originally was eat, sleep, drink, survive. That's it.
Run away from hairy thing on 4 legs.
You hear that growl?
Run.
You're gonna shit. You have shit flying out your butt now. That's why people get nervous diarrhea.
In Monster Hunter, you save that, and you can shoot it at a monster, and it'll run away. You save your poop, everybody. If you're still pooping in that toilet, you gotta quit it and save your poop.
Are you being serious right now?
No.
I do.
That's
see-
2 for Brady.
Because
First the man behind Kmart, and now this.
All you
I got
gotta
a
do-
bridge to sell
All
you,
you gotta
AJ.
do is stutter your sentences and point, and anybody will believe you.
well, here's the thing: is just
There's goblins
I haven't
in
played,
my ass. They're all named Clancy.
I haven't played Monster Hunter, and I don't know much about it.
No, the dung thing is true in Monster Hunter. Like, if 2 of them are fighting, you shoot one with dung and it'll run away.
Can we look? I can comprehend like these giant mind-shattering things, but Brady and this poop thing has really got me lost. I'm confused, and I need an adult.
Well, I'm 12. What is this?
This is my first time online.
ASL.
You know what's funny is
How
that
do you
when I
text?
get my mind uploaded, I can definitely say, "This is my first time online." ASL. Well, when I uploaded, I was like 70, but now I'm like a hot buff 18-year-old again. No, I'm 21, so I could drink. What if Dude Bros talked about shit like this? That's exactly where it goes. Oh man, yeah, I'd upload, and then like I'd have a fucking hot bod. I'd just be pound and puss all day. That's all I'd do. I'd find a chick, pound her puss, and then I'd throw her away.
Crushing puss and huffing dank.
Yeah, I would just be fucking huffing titties
I'd make it so my liver can't die, so I could drink
all day. I would
all the
make
daiquiris.
I would just invent
know what they
a
drink.
swimming pool into existence full of whiskey and just suck it down.
Yeah.
Dude, bro, you know we're cool because we drink whiskey, we smoke cigars. Don't believe us? Smell my cyber car, dude. I'm a real man and I like sport.
I love the way you said that. Dead. Sugar car dead.
That's why Dude Bros don't have awesome podcasts like us.
Yeah.
We take this shit seriously.
If they do, I haven't heard them, and I
never will.
I think this is where we can end it.
Well, maybe in the future somebody be listening to this in a computer world.
In their own Saint Junipero.
Yep.
My name is David.
And my sexy voice, the name behind this voice is, God damn it. My name is AJ.
Signing off with Brady.
Thank you for listening.